That's not here. Have to be closer friends then.
Oh, that's good.
Just John. Whisper.
Yeah.
Yay, very excited.
Get carried away.
So, I'm calling the meeting to order, our first meeting of the new board year. It's the only time I get to do it. But welcome everybody. It's been a while. Good to see everybody. And we will jump right into the first opening thing and I guess. Can you hear us now, Louis? Okay, good. So the first thing I get to do is village manager calls for election of new board officers. So is there any nominations for chair for this year's board? Bill?
Yeah, I nominate Jonathan Edelson.
Okay, is there a second? Andrew? Okay, Jonathan, do you accept? Oh, any other nominations? Jonathan, do you, are you willing to accept this nomination?
Yes, I am.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
Good luck.
Okay, so all in favor of Jonathan Edelson as the chair for the 2025-26 board year? Okay, it is 5-4-0, and a person.
And Jonathan, are you gonna
Paulette
say?
voted.
Can
Paulette
I
voted.
vote for myself?
Yeah.
Go ahead, vote.
My mom always told me you should.
Okay, fine, all right.
Paulette voted.
And
Again,
Paulette.
Thorn.
Hi, Paulette.
Okay.
So 5-0.
Thank you.
I don't know if that's.
And now I will officially pass
I get to hit Bill.
the gavel on.
Knock, knock.
All right, well, thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate it. So next on the agenda is a nomination for board vice chair. Is there a nomination for board vice chair?
I nominate Bill.
Okay, are there other nominations for board vice chair? Bill,
I'll second his nomination. So.
Thank you. Would you accept the nomination if elected?
To quote our chair, darn.
That's a yes.
That's a good, yes, yes. that
Okay,
works.
all in favor of Bill McCormack for vice chair? I'm gonna go 5-0-0 on that.
Thank you, sir. Good to be back.
Good to team up again.
Yeah.
All right, now we resume sort of regular business. This is kind of an irregular board meeting. Didn't we have 2 sets of minutes?
We did, I did not list them. Amy reminded me, but I had already sent out the. So,
Okay,
yes.
so it's April 29th and it's also April 22nd, because yeah, they
Correct.
were a week apart. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the 22nd, which was the regular meeting. So all in favor of approving, or I'm sorry, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the April 22nd? I'll take a motion from Bill.
Do we need to approve the agenda?
No, we do the
Yeah,
minutes
that's
first.
That's next.
Oh, sorry, I apologize.
Yes.
I thought it was missed. Sorry, I apologize.
Nope. Okay, I'll take a motion from Bill to approve the April 22nd minutes, a second from Andrew. Any discussion of those minutes? All in favor of approving? 4, oppose, abstain? Or 0.
Wasn't here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we had a special meeting on April 29th. The only business was consideration of and a vote for acceptance of the village management contracts, both of which were accepted and approved unanimously. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from that meeting? I'll take Bill and Andrew again. Any discussion? All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oppose? Abstain?
Did you abstain on the April 22nd and I missed it?
I did abstain for both. I wasn't here, so
Yeah.
I have no opinions one way or the other.
All right. And now the moment that Karen has been waiting for.
It's magic, one of the things that I realized it's on the second page, so actually we can approve it. Oh, great, I missed something.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting? Take a motion from Andrew, a second from Daniel. Any discussion? All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0. All right, we are underway. Okay, oh, I need to pull out my phone for a timer just in case. First up is resident remarks. Any residents wishing to speak to the board may have up to 3 minutes of floor time. We have one resident in the virtual audience, no one in the room. Louis, you here for remarks or just watching us?
He's got his hand up.
Have
Remarks?
a remark in the form of a question. Can you hear me?
Okay, we hear you.
Okay, the question is, I'm not sure if it was the last meeting or the meeting before that, either the April or maybe the one before that. We had a brief discussion about the cemetery behind the Shadow Oaks condominiums. And I was just wondering if there had been anything happening on that front that I could. In July, there will be a meeting of the Howard County Cemetery Advisory Board, Cemetery Preservation Board, and I was hoping I could interface with them if necessary to get any resources we might need. So I was curious if anything had happened. Thank you.
Hey, Ricky,
Thanks.
can I answer, or sorry, Jonathan, can I answer that?
Sure.
So Louis, we had started talking about that and Daniel had expressed an interest and he's gone to look at the cemetery and I haven't had time to do the things I had committed to, but could the three of us just chat briefly? Could we set up a time to chat about what you need? Because I'd like to involve the resident whose name escapes me.
James Fagan.
James.
James, I'd like to involve him if he has time to talk about it as well.
Sure, we can set up a time to meet. Yeah, just we can coordinate offline at your convenience.
Okay, yeah, Louis, do you have my email address?
I don't know if I do or not. Maybe I can get it from you or Brigida.
Okay, that would be good. I'll make sure that one of them, I'll work with them to get it to you so that we can coordinate and I'll get Daniel's contact information and I'll send an email out when I get home tonight.
And just so you know, I had sent you some stuff, Louis, but I do have, Sandy had a folder on her laptop, and so there is information about what has, been discussed before. That I'm happy to share with all three of you.
Let's let them speak.
So you have it.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, thank you, Louis. Okay, we're gonna move on to new business, and there is a list of board action items, as is the norm for our first meeting of the year. So first up is the Architecture Committee Chair. The Chair of the Architecture Committee presides over this group when we are sitting as the Architecture Committee versus the General Village Board, and also interfaces with the architecture staff as well as the resident architecture committee and the non-residential NRA, non-residential architecture advisory committee, NRAAC. Is there a nomination for architecture chair? Karen? We have a nomination for Andrew. Is Bill seconding that? Seconds that. Andrew, do you accept the nomination?
I accept the nomination.
All right, are there other nominations for architecture chair? Good, because normally there's not even one, so. All right, all in favor of Andrew as architecture chair? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0. Congratulations, Andrew,
Thanks.
and thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Pleasure.
Which holiday is your favorite? What do you like to eat? Because Jonathan's gonna cook it.
Yes. Okay, next up, appointing members to the architecture committee. So I'm doing some 101 stuff for Daniel's benefit since he's new to the board. So the village board and the architecture committee are generally one and the same. Are, by law, we're an NHOA, so architecture is actually one of the kind of the legal responsibilities that we have, because we're responsible for the covenants in Oakland Mills Village. Except in some, rare circumstances, all members of the village board sit on the architecture committee. So does anyone among us want to nominate themselves and everyone else to sit as the architecture committee? Bill?
So moved.
Okay, Bill nominates everyone but Karen?
Well, I can second it. Do you need me to?
You can second it. Yeah, yeah,
I'll
I'm just clarifying that you're not
Wait,
one of the
you wrong.
nominees. Right, right. You can second it. I'll take a second from
I
Karen.
second that.
All right.
To do that.
So all in favor of Bill, John, Daniel, Andrew, and Paulette on the architecture committee for Oakland Mills? All right, 5-0-0. And that's all. Okay. Next, we need to appoint 4 OMC board members to be sent to the Columbia Association for the association's approval to sit on the OMCA Architecture Committee as Columbia Association's appointed members. This is a weird archaic thing that doesn't really matter.
It's a repeat of the last.
Sorry?
It feels like it's a repeat of the last.
No, this is specific
slightly
going to
different.
CA.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
This is us appointing 4 of us to, I guess, represent CA on our architecture committee. And we do this at the beginning of every year and then we never speak of it again.
The truth is funny.
It is.
Jonathan, who was on it last?
I don't remember. Do you remember who was on it last year?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Well, I feel like I would like to nominate Jonathan and Andrew. Those two make sense to me, and Bill is the vice chair. And then Daniel and Paulette, I think, should have to duke it out in the parking lot.
Oh, Paulette has her hand up.
Paulette?
Yeah, I was saying that I did it last year.
Okay.
Okay. You
I'll
want to do it again?
again. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll nominate Paulette also.
I know it was a lot of work. It was that you don't know what we're sparing you.
Exhausting. Oh, it's so exhausting.
I figured Daniel could just ask you
Yeah.
guys questions and next year we'll tag.
If someone could explain to me what we do when we sit on this thing, I don't even remember if I was one of the 4 last year, so. Okay, so all in favor of, John. A second, do we have a second? I'll take a second from Daniel. All in favor of John, Andrew, Bill, Paulette, as the 4 OMC board members doing that thing?
No.
5-0-0. I think one year we tried to get CA to explain what it was and they really couldn't either, other than you just have to have this.
I think it's one of the, I think in one of the legal documents that it like mentions
Yeah.
that.
It
so
does.
It has been
Mhm.
combined
It's too
with
much
that.
effort to change it is what it sounds like.
Okay, Brigitte, do you have recommendations ready for the rack?
I do. It is Lynn Engelke, Carl McKinney, and Mikkel Antoine, who are currently serving on it and would like to continue serving on the RAC committee.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept the names as submitted by the village manager? I'll take a motion from Bill. I'll take a second from Daniel. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-0-0. Lynn, Carl, and Mikhail back on the rack. And do you have recommendations for nominees for the non-resident architecture advisory committee?
I do. David Smith, Valerie Smith, Jervis Dorton, and Phil Engelke, again, served on it last year and would like to serve on it again in the coming year.
Okay, is there a motion to appoint David, Valerie, Jervis, and Phil? I'll take the motion from Daniel this time and the second from Andrew. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-0-0. All right, thank you to all of them for serving again. Okay, now comes the really controversial part. We are technically supposed to reappoint the village manager every year per the article and section of the bylaws that I'm not going to read because it's all here in front of us. So is there a motion to appoint Brigitte Warren to serve as our village manager once again? Motion from Bill, second from Daniel, all in favor? 5-0-0.
Thank you.
And no management contract this year.
I know,
I imagine if there were a management contract up again, you may have declined.
I'm out of here.
Okay. Now we come to the part where we appoint chairs, liaisons, and representatives to current OMCA standing committees. So we have several standing committees, some of which have been active in recent years, some of which have been dormant. One example of dormant, I think the only example of dormant on this list is the Safety and Security Committee liaison and chair. So let's just start in order. Do we want to appoint or propose a nominee for Education Committee Chair?
You want to do it again,
Bill?
Jonathan?
Sure. Do it
Yep.
again.
Nominate Jonathan.
Second that.
I'll accept.
Okay, good.
All in favor, any other nominees? All in favor? All right, 500 there, thank you. Okay, next is Housing Chair. We have a nominee for Housing Chair. If not, I have one. I would like to nominate Bill.
I would accept.
I second.
All right, any other nominees? All in favor? 500. Okay, Safety and Security Committee Liaison and Chair. Just to summarize what that is, because we haven't had anyone in this role in quite some time. This is the person who primarily interacts with law enforcement, and we do once again have a community officer assigned to Oakland Mills, so there's actually probably a single point of contact to interact with, as well as interact with the community on any safety and security issues. So do we have a nominee or interest in chairing and acting as liaison for Safety and Security Committee this year?
I was thinking maybe the security officer should kind of come to our meetings, be the person.
Oh, we can invite him. I mean, we've invited our community officer in the past. Usually when there's, something specific we want to talk about. Although in the past, when we had this committee running, we would also, sometimes the committee chair would invite the officer in like once a year just to give an overview of, crime statistics and what's going on in the village. Oh, Paulette, did you have something?
Yes, I'm interested.
Okay, I'll happily nominate Paulette.
I'll second.
Beat you to it.
Daniel was
Take
a lot
Take
faster than
Daniel,
you.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay, any other nominees? All in favor of Paulette? Excellent, 500. We reactivated the committee for the first time in a few years.
Oh,
Okay, next up is the Open Space Advisory Committee Chair. You see open space and public space here, so just to clarify, open space is capital O, capital S, as in the areas that are owned by CA and defined as CA open space. So think, the paths that CA maintains, any of the green fields or forested areas that belong to CA versus private ownership or county or state ownership is what's covered by open space, tot lots, things like that.
Because this is a good committee to be on, right now for someone, because CA is going to start repaving the pathways. They have a project coming up for that, so there's gonna be a lot of activity in open space. I don't know how much of it will impact us here in Oakland Mills, but.
And just ask a question, how does that differ in this case from public space since you're public space? Yeah.
So public space, but Warren Wortman for years chaired public space. So public space is basically it's Howard County and Maryland State, mostly Howard County. So think, issues going on with roadways, sidewalks, any bike lanes, yeah, anything that's owned and maintained by Howard County. The reason why I say there's a little bit of state is Warren was working a project up by Route 108 to establish a path and a walkway from the Thunder Hill neighborhood across 108. So that crossed over, actually that crossed, CA open space, Howard County property, as well as state property because of the right of way of Route 108.
Understand. But yes, we were back to open space, I believe, or nominations for that.
Yes, yes.
Paulette,
Paulette? Paulette, did you have a nominate? Oop.
No, I never took it down. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I'll happily nominate Bill if he'll serve again.
Yep.
Okay, good. I was gonna say, if you weren't gonna nominate Bill, I was gonna do.
All right, well, I'll take you as a second.
I'll be the second.
Okay, any other nominees for open space? And this is chair, any member of the board or resident of Oakland Mills can also join the committee and attend meetings and everything.
Well,
Okay, all in favor of Bill for open space chair? Right, 5-0-0. Okay, next is Public Space Advisory Committee Chair. Do we have a nominee or interest in public space?
I would nominate myself. I'm interested.
You're volunteering? Well, then I will nominate you if
Yeah.
you're raising your hand.
Second.
And we'll
Mhm.
volunteer for that.
All right. All right, we have a second. Any other nominees? All in favor of Daniel for public space? 5-0-0. I'd like to discuss the intersection of Stevens Forest and Broken Land Park.
Where Hive is.
All right, and finally, our newest committee, this is a committee that was founded and stood up and established and accomplished a lot under Paulette
Yep.
in the last board year. And that is our tenant committee, whose primary purpose is to interface with the, I guess for lack of a better term, commercial rental properties, primarily our apartment complexes kind of around the perimeter of the village center here.
I nominate Paulette.
Second that.
Paulette, you accept? I'd say that's an acceptance.
That's a good one.
All right, any other nominees? Okay, all in favor of Paulette for tenant committee? All right, thumbs up from Paulette herself, 5-0-0. Okay, and finally, I forgot to reach out to Paul.
did.
You have a name?
And
Okay.
he is willing to do it again, yeah.
Okay,
I did reach out.
so Paul has represented us for many years on the BWI roundtable. The BWI roundtable is a group from the jurisdictions obviously around the airport, BWI airport. And what they've primarily been working on are the noise issues associated with the next gen flight paths that went into effect. I don't even know how
Several
many,
years.
yeah, several years
Several
ago
years
now.
ago.
It's been quite a few years now. And Paul has represented us well. He's actually brought the leadership of the committee to village board meetings to speak to us. So I will happily accept Paul's willingness to volunteer and nominate Paul.
Now, second.
All right, there's a second. Any other nominees? Okay, all in favor of Paul continuing to represent us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-0-0 on Paul. Okay. Next up, cul-de-sac beautification. Oof. So Oakland Mills has cul-de-sacs, and cul-de-sacs have islands, and islands are landscaped in various ways, or in some cases not. But the cul-de-sac islands, the maintenance of the landscaping outside of like major trees, are a responsibility of the homeowners on the street in some way I still think is ill-defined, but I won't even get into that today. They're responsible, for example, if it has grass for the regular mowing, or if it has, shrubbery for trimming and just keeping it up. So what Oakland Mills has historically done is we have used part of the proceeds from our annual plant sale to put $1,500 into a fund so that up to 20 of these cul-de-sacs throughout Oakland Mills can apply for an amount up to $75 and get some funds from Oakland Mills Village to help fund a beautification project on the cul-de-sac. So, some kind of natural maintenance with the encouragement that if they're planting, they plant native plants. Native to Maryland, obviously, this region of Maryland. So is there a motion to approve the $1,500 to go to the cul-de-sac beautification? Motion from Bill. Is there a second? Second from Daniel. Okay, any discussion?
I just want to say one thing. Every year, we get several people, but one of the questions they always have is, they often, like, we've had a request to put in, a bench, or we've had a request to put in, a stone memorial. And I always say that it's just, plants or shrubbery. And so I just, in the discussion, I had told the individuals who had emailed me that I would just bring this up. Just, again, I'm fine with whatever you decide, but,
You're gonna get going. You're gonna get going on this.
well, I get some interesting requests, on this field, and I just wanna make sure that I'm on the same page as everybody else. That's,
So here's my thought on that.
okay,
If these are somehow the responsibility of the homeowners, and if we theoretically can enforce their maintenance on the homeowners with properties in and around the cul-de-sac, then I think our other architecture standards should apply. So if you're erecting some kind of a
Mhm.
fixture, then I honestly, I don't know if we can do this, but I think it should have to go through our review process. I don't think it should just be something we give you money for and you erect. You know, I think of the beautification, like I said, is, you know, something, you know, natural that you plant, or funding toward, you know, remulching what's already there or
Right,
something
right.
like that.
County owned.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
county owned,
Maintained. So
right?
it's the county that, it's county property.
Yeah.
It's county property.
Is it under covenant?
So it wouldn't technically, but it's that slippery slope
See, now,
because we
but
have
last-
to maintain it.
Last year when I was ranting about it, someone on our staff, I can't remember who, said we could technically enforce if residents are maintaining it. So what would we enforce that under if not the covenants?
Yeah,
Hmm.
You'd have to enforce it
Wouldn't
with
it be
the
the
county,
same
and the
as
county
commercial?
would have to like
No?
work with the residents to do it.
I'm not a lawyer, don't I?
Well, no.
Hmm.
well, I just wanna, like I said, I always
Getting
tell,
started.
I told him I would bring it up for conversation.
You-
If we wanna keep it at plants and shrubbery and mulch, that's perfectly fine.
I think going beyond that not only puts us in a gray area in
Mhm.
terms of our responsibilities, but it also puts us in a position where we could be funding something that someone would erect on the county's property without the
Okay.
county's permission to do that.
Mhm.
Okay.
I also feel like there might be some liability issues with this. My parents lived on a cul-de-sac that became rapidly, we'll just say, out of compliance, and there was a bench that was on it, and eventually it rotted down until there were just nails sticking out of pieces of wood.
Hmm.
And would we be responsible if a child went up and got tetanus,
County.
for example? The county would. But then would the county come and deal with it? Because at the same time, they've also been, I'll say, somewhat negligent in the maintenance of some of these things. So
The county is not gonna come by and mow the lawns on the cul-de-sacs.
no, this is the case of, for example, this was on African Hill Court. The interior of it has completely gone beyond its actual bounds. And it's been like that for the better part of my entire childhood, to the point where it's just sort of exploded beyond that. At what point would we involve the county? But then where would we have the liability for us contributing to something? I would say that they could do it at their own risk, but I don't know if we would actually involve our funds for that. But I don't know. It's got-
Yeah, no, it's good,
They should call yards
good,
alive.
good brainstorming.
Yeah.
Call yards alive and see what they suggest.
I feel like you have to go in there and do a little malicious compliance and knock something down to get them to deal with it. As soon as it's lying in the street and in the road, then they have to come and cut everything else down.
It would be interesting to put
Remember,
a
it's just a
C-click fix and
ring
just see what the county does.
Is that John?
I think it would be interesting to put in a C-click fix just to see what the county does.
There's
Mhm,
this website
mhm.
called C-Click Fix that you can like take like they partner with a lot of organizations, and Howard County is one, so you can, like, if you take a picture and upload it to this cclickfix.com, then the county might actually
Right.
respond at some
That's an
point.
interesting, that's good information.
And
Or-
Jonathan, if you all submit it and then forward it to me, then I'll continue to do the follow-up and make sure that the notes are in there so the public can see the progress of it.
Great, thank you. Or I find the app more convenient. The app is called Telhoco, which it's just Howard County's interface with C-click fix.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Appreciate that.
All right,
Yeah, but yes, the the motion to.
Oh, Louis, you had your hand up? It's hard to see because he's got that
Yeah, there's a glare.
light there.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I was gonna make the same point Daniel made actually about liability, because I do see a lot of benches on those cul-de-sacs
Yeah.
when I'm walking around. But I did have one question, and is the motion is for up to 20 cul-de-sacs. How many cul-de-sacs are there in Oakland Mills? What fraction does that cover? And how many requests did we get last year? Did we exceed 20?
We absolutely did not, and we've never exceeded more, I would say more than 10.
Should we increase the maximum amount for people who actually want to do it?
Yeah, if it's only 10, and why not say $100 for example?
We don't have to do more math.
We would have to do
Then-
more math, but I do agree with.
So $100 would be up to 15 cul-de-sacs. We could do that.
Right.
And prices on things have gone up.
Going
They
up.
have gone up.
Mhm.
And we don't, in the 2 years that I've done it, I've never gotten more than 10. I can tell you that.
Okay.
We have a motion. Are we in discussion on the motion?
We are in discussion.
So we would need a
So we would
amendment
need
to
a motion to amend from up to 20 at 75 to up to 15 at 100.
I'll motion to amend.
Okay, wait, so we have a motion to amend. We have a second. Okay, now I need to remember Robert's rules. We vote on the
Vote on the amendment.
amendment, right? Okay, is there any further discussion? Okay, so all in favor of the amendment, to the original motion, that takes us from up to 20 at 75 to up to, 15 at 100. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, okay, 5-0-0 on the amendment. And now, for the amended motion to actually fund this thing, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have Paulette. We have, oh, 5, okay. So we have amended 5-0-0 and then pass 5-0-0 as amended. Okay, oh, this math gets even harder. Block parties. So, we, can contribute, $1,125 for block parties. $25 for up to 15 streets with 12 or less homes. $50 for up to 15 streets with 13 or more homes, or a combination of streets with 13 or more homes. And didn't we last year or a couple of years ago add a category for apartment or multifamily complexes, or is that, do they fall into the $50 category? I forget.
They
what we
would
talked
fall
about.
under the $50.
Okay.
That's what I've done
Okay,
in the past.
okay. All
I'll
right,
make the motion to.
yeah, I got a
approve.
motion from Andrew. Is there a second? A second from Bill? All right, any discussion on funding block parties?
I see no issue with it. My question is, to what do we fund for the block party? Just
Um,
purely me asking.
it would be food. We don't fund alcohol.
Yeah, I would assume that as
Yeah,
much.
so it's normally,
Buns,
buns, hot dogs, hamburgers, chips.
napkins,
Yeah,
paper plates.
Simple stuff. And now,
Well,
to formally do a block party, I'm assuming that they have to fill out some sort of form to.
they do not.
Or they just come and be like, can I get $50? to get the
No,
hot dog?"
not, absolutely not.
Okay.
They let me know that they either will be or they have had a block party. They tell me what street they are on and how many families were involved. Then I ask for a receipt of what they purchased. And then I attach their email with the receipt, give it to the bookkeeper. And sometimes it's less than the amount, but sometimes it's like $43, but whatever it is I put it in and I have a waiting list.
Mhm.
So once I get to the bottom, I've never hit the max, let's just say, but I always immediately respond. And so there's definitely a process and they definitely have to provide paperwork or the accountant would not like that very much, so.
Where's the part where
was-
they invite the village board? The
Yeah,
village board should be
Well,
invited
that,
to every block
I'll
party.
add that into
that's
my
good
email.
idea. That's a good
You
idea.
know,
Start
because I
posting
go
it,
to the famous sleeping dog.
Yeah.
Party every year, it's on
Yeah.
the hottest day of the year.
All right.
Oh, Louis
Any-
has a
If they've done it for the
question.
day, it would have been the coldest of the summer.
Yes, Louis.
Sorry, I guess I'm just curious. I've lived here for 20 plus years, 25 years almost. I've never seen a block party anywhere. I'm just wondering, are there like rules for what constitutes a block party? Are they allowed to have live music? Are there noise restrictions? Are there other, do we need, police security to block off the road? What's required for a block party?
No, it is required, what's required is what's listed as far as how many streets, in order to get reimbursement. And I'm not told like who's involved, what they're doing, et cetera, et cetera. That's not really, that's out of my purview, so to speak. I'm just simply, if they have a block party that meets the logistics of what's listed under our rules for reimbursement for a block party, I would reimburse them. And I advertise it on our website and in our newsletter. And I will say that it's often, again, the same people, it's their annual block party, and so they know, not to say that other people couldn't, but it's often the same groups that have the block parties.
And it's usually cul-de-sacs.
It's normally cul-de-sacs, townhome communities, sometimes they've had them and they have submitted for reimbursement too.
Right.
Paulette?
Well, I guess,
Sorry, go ahead, Louis.
no, I'm sorry. I don't want to belabor this. I'm guessing I was curious if it's just cul-de-sacs. That was sort of where I was getting. Is it just cul-de-sacs? For example, at Christmas time, there are a couple of houses in Oakland Mills that have huge displays. If they want to have carolers and hot chocolate and whatnot on, it's not in a cul-de-sac. Is that allowed? Is that allowed, I guess?
If it meets the number of houses, and the street listings on this document, and there is still funding available in December. Cause most people do take advantage of it up through September, but if there is still money available in December and somebody reaches out to me and tells me what is going on. And it meets this criteria, then there wouldn't be any reason where I would. I would say, no, that doesn't constitute a, because it was in the winter as opposed to the summer, or it wasn't on a cul-de-sac. Cause there's nothing that says it has to be on a cul-de-sac.
Yeah,
Kind
that's
of like
kind of-
we used to have one
Kind of my
years
point,
ago.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Is Louis planning a Christmas party? Carolers, hot chocolate?
The 20th.
I'm
The
not
cul-de-sac, the cul-de-sac is specifically for the beautification, because that's a separate thing. So the
Right,
block
right.
party, they're always grouped together because the funding comes from our raising money from the flower sale, but they are separate.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And you have to conform to other laws and regulations for the county and everything. So for
Right.
example, like, not a good idea to take your minivan and your neighbor's pickup truck and close your street on Halloween and the 4th of July. That would be wrong. And no one here would do that.
Of course.
Paulette has her hand up.
Paulette?
Yes, I was wondering how would the block parties work if it was tenants, if they wanted to do it with the tenants, being that all the apartment complexes are so close?
I mean, I've never been asked that question before. But I can't, I mean,
You could do it by building. How many
I
apartments?
think instead
how many
of
apartments
by
do
the street, it would be the building.
Pressure's on Andrew.
Which means that we would have to amend this to change it from homes to dwellings or something along those lines.
Columbia Grant one time had
My neighbors
like a
just
party,
moved
and I
out,
think they
like,
paid for it.
around the last December, so. But yeah, I guess that, block
Right.
party with new neighbors, once
Right.
they move in.
Paulette, you have more questions?
I think
No,
her
I
answer-
didn't hear the answer.
Hey, Jonathan, this is Ashley. We can double check, but I think in cases would be like this, it would have to come from the management company to have the request.
Hmm.
Okay, because I've thrown like community barbecues at my complex. So I was just wondering if it was something like that.
Usually it's the owner
Yeah.
to ask for stuff.
I do know when the townhome communities do it. When they do it, it is the townhome, the president who has reached out to me and asks for the funds. So they don't go to him, they go to the community, like whatever Emerson community or whomever it is, that's who the check is written to. So it goes basically into their HOA funds. So I presume that's what I've been told.
Okay,
Or
thank you.
they pay for it out of their pocket. As a representative, the president of Emerson, and then I, all of it is documented, and then I receive that documentation and I reimburse them.
Paul,
So-
sorry, Jonathan, can I ask a question?
Mhm.
Do the apartment complexes have places for you guys to have, a party like that? Because I would think if you had permission from the management company and you're like, well, our building is gonna, I mean, would that qualify, Brigida, if someone said like, we've got 20 apartments, that counts like 20 homes?
I mean,
I would think so.
I would think so.
We make the rules.
Exactly, I was gonna say, you guys.
Yes,
can
let's say
determine
yes.
What it is, as long as you just let me know, so I know what they are.
So I think instead of homes, it should just say residential units. Cause
Mhm.
that includes, single
Apartments.
family homes, condos, apartments, whatever.
That seems like a good amendment to me.
Make the motion.
Yeah,
I motion to amend.
I second.
Okay, so there is a motion to amend the language to from homes to residential units. Any
Mhm.
further discussion of that? Okay, all in favor? All right, so the amendment passes 5-0-0. Okay, all in favor of adopting the funding as amended? 5-0-0. Okay. Brigida, you have forms for us to look at.
I do, so everybody should have received in their email the policies, the Oakland Mills whistleblower policy, as well as the conflict of interest and code of ethics and conduct policy. And hopefully you read them. I have copies for everybody of part of the management contract with CA is we have to have these documents signed and on file, as well as it's good for ourselves to have them on file. But if you are good with everything, everybody needs to have one, I have to have a signed copy returned to me. Paulette, I'm happy to email you a PDF for signature, if that works for you. It's like the first two and then the next two and then the next two.
And you got them in pairs. Good.
I do.
Everyone just take a couple of minutes to read it over in case you have any questions for Brigida, super signing.
Brigida, am I signing these?
No. You sign them with
I
CA.
sign CA stuff. I didn't even know we have a whistleblower thing. I don't think we signed one for CA.
I don't think you have that, no. I have copies of them if anybody needs.
CA doesn't have a whistleblower policy?
I don't know.
I'm not the one that they have to sign.
I didn't have to. I think I might have.
Amy, did you want to blow the whistle on something?
Yeah.
Want to see them?
Oh, do you need a pen? Oh, you don't have your green pen.
I don't have to.
It does seem
It's normally on the back of the line.
No, I know.
Excuse me?
Yeah,
Green pen.
yeah, I read it last.
Yeah, it still does. Yeah.
I'm
Been there for years.
And I went,
Been there for years.
I didn't know it was a great pen.
so.
Oh, no, it isn't green. That one was black.
Oh, I thought that was black.
What
Okay.
Because I remember, because
Yeah.
the co-chair, I would have to sign a lot of
Yeah.
official documents, so I signed way more than my junior in black.
That's a good,
All official. Yes.
That's the first
That,
thing.
that,
been on there
yeah, it's a
since I got
good
hired.
point, but
It's been there a long time.
yeah, my.
You're a
I
little
know
worse than I am.
my condo insurance covers that actually, which is one of the,
that's
I'm an
worse.
insurance agent, so I know.
Oh, are
but,
you?
Yeah,
That's something that's typically covered by homeowners insurance.
sometimes not.
See?
Yes,
Okay, thank you, Brigida.
I'll have to take a look.
We have had to use that.
You have my soul.
Yeah.
Covers
Yeah.
covered, which is very standard, actually.
Few times, in my time here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not lately.
No, not lately.
Yeah, that's right.
Does anyone have any questions about the policies? Does anyone need to see the hard copies?
I can get rid of it.
Thanks.
Nowadays, I don't bring my laptop, I just.
Oh, I'm the director.
Hi, Pete.
I'm not used to signing.
Thank
stuff as director.
thank you.
He bored Lewis, he left.
And he said he had to run. Thank you and goodbye.
Right, my name, but this is- is there anything?
Thank you.
There we go.
And can I throw in one other thing while
Of course you can.
okay, I just wanted to let you know, I haven't spoken to anybody on the board about this, but I do have a new board member packet. I learned that a lot of it's already in your candidate packet, but sometimes people have that and then they don't think much of it. So now it is more relevant. And one of the other village managers had a really great packet, so I'm working on it, but I'll either have it for you next meeting or when we decide on our, where we have our architecture training and meet the staff, board meeting, which whenever that date is, so I'll have it then either way, but, just wanted to let you know, I was gonna have it ready for today, but long weekend, didn't get to it, so, it will be ready hopefully the next time. So just wanted to let you know that.
All right, very good. Well, it looks like we're to the bulletin board.
I just wanted to point out well, there's Jazz in the Mills coming up, but our Welcome Summer concert with MK Trio is coming up, so mark your calendars for that. It's on June 26th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. and we're gonna have food trucks and maybe some activities before the actual concert, and then MK Trio is a jazz trio. So,
And that's here.
yep, it'll be here in the courtyard unless it rains in the morning.
I don't have a board meeting then. Okay.
And Brigida's actually been working on that while I was working on the plant still, so. Okay, yeah, I'm good.
So just a little follow-up, MK Trio is actually an up-and-coming jazz group that graduated with my son who goes to Skidmore, and they are doing an East Coast tour and have just released their very first album. They've played together since they were in high school. They all went to college together. They're all music majors. And the bassist, my son just informed me, was accepted into and I'm probably gonna get this wrong, but I think it's called the Tribeca School of Music.
Oh, wow.
Only one
Oh,
person in each instrument is accepted. So, I mean, we're talking really good
Wow.
players.
yeah.
And I'm very excited to have them here, and Lavinia is gonna be here so she can see. One of our goals is to really, Lavinia wants to inspire younger jazz musicians, and my son is a jazz musician and will be here for the concert, but, he was the one who introduced me, and then I reached out to the gentleman who is, doing all of their publicity,
Mhm.
who's also,
They're a booking agent.
yes, yeah, he's also the pianist, but I'm very excited. I've heard the bassist play, I've heard the drummer play, I'm excited to see what they have. And so they're gonna be up and down the East Coast throughout this whole summer, so.
Brigida, who was the band that was, for some reason, I'm thinking they were the band that played at the fall festival outside.
Yeah.
No, that was a different group, okay.
No, that was the swing and swan music.
Yeah, no, this, I I tried to hook them into the Columbia Lake Fest, but I think that they were full, so maybe in years to come, they'll be there, but
We should keep them for ourselves.
Yeah.
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 So just a little follow-up with that, and the only other thing I wanted to say too is, and if you haven't, and if you're available, the staff board picnic is on, June 29th. And, you should have received a link to RSVP, and it's gonna be at the sports park. I don't know what kind of food yet, I haven't quite decided that yet, but, it should be a fun time, so don't forget
It's
to
on my
RSVP.
calendar. Yeah, I already did, I think.
I did see your name, yes.
We'll go to the sports park, okay?
Yeah, just something different, you know. So,
Okay.
And welcome board and staff to a new board year.
oh, yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
welcome, Daniel.
All right, yes, welcome everyone to a new board year. Also, on a more somber note, want to send condolences to Ginny and the Thomas family on the passing of Chuck. Chuck was a good guy, a very funny guy, and I think Ginny was more out in front, but you know, Chuck was always that quiet guy in the background, you know, doing a lot for the community as well.
Mhm.
He just wasn't as front and center as Ginny, but he'll definitely be missed.
Mhm.
Daniel, anything for bulletin board?
Nothing at this point in time.
All right.
I'll come up with something for later.
Andrew,
Nothing.
I have
Karen?
something to talk about, I can't remember what they were. Damn it, I hate them. I'll think about them later and I'll send an email out to, oh, I know, one of the things was, Brigitte already shared an email, I'm on a task force that's gonna be reviewing Newtown zoning. Please feel free to reach out and talk to me about anything you wanna make sure that I'm aware of, I'm talking to a bunch of people, probably be talking to Jervis, be talking to a lot of people. Who are experts in this kind of thing to make sure, it's a large task force, there's a lot of people on it,
Mhm.
but, I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, and there's other stuff I'll think of later after I'm in my car.
Thanks, Karen. Paulette?
Nope.
Okay, well, I think we're out of people, so we are adjourned.
That is, Daniel, I'm gonna use your email.
What a-